Welcome to DDL, where we discuss everyday topics like current events and or controversial points of view. This is No, I'm Void. First things first, shout out to our sponsor, Candle Time. Head over to the link in the description to purchase a candle today.
How's everyone doing? Welcome. Sorry, I didn't record last week. Weather's been getting nice, and I got a lot of yard I need to get caught up on. So in spring break, so all the kids and I were just outside doing yard work and trying to enjoy our weekend and getting ready for spring break and doing all that fun stuff. So didn't drop any videos last week, but let's go ahead and see if we can get a little rambunctious. Let's look at what Trump's been doing. The admin live update. This is from ABC News, so again, it's going to be probably a little bit biased, but it's going to give us an indication what's going on. So what's it? Trump says third term isn't a joke, despite term limit. I'm not 100% sure that this is. Let's just go. He said he did not rule out seeking a third term for president when asked by NBC on Sunday, saying there are methods which you could do it. A lot of people want me to do it, Trump said Sunday. But I mean, I basically tell them I have a long way to go. You know, it's very early in the administration. Oh, freaking Trump. Oh, my God, this guy. I'm assuming some of y'all are just loving this, and I'm just like, whatever. It is what it is. It is interesting that the only reason why presidents can't run for more than 2 terms was because the Republican Party I shouldn't say interfered, was able to pass the bills, the laws in Congress after FDR, which made sense because FDR would have won another term, probably. But yeah, that guy, or if he would have lived, he would have won another term. But yeah, FDR is one of the worst presidents in history. And the simple fact that America kept voting him in shows a lot for us. You know, it's crazy. Meanwhile, tariffs on imported autos are to go in effect on Wednesday, while economists predict Trump's tariffs will raise prices in the U.S. His tariffs czar, Peter Navarro. I do find it interesting that, like, I remember when Kamala Harris was doing the border czar, and then everyone got upset when, you know, people started saying it, and then and they were trying to say czar because it gives that connotation like, oh, they're communists, they're working in, you know, hand in hand with Russia. Like I said, framing's everything, and they like to frame it as everything that they're doing is bad. Tariffs are not in and of itself bad, but, you know, whatever. Peter Navarro predicted that they would result in tax cuts. Tariffs are tax cuts. Tariffs are jobs. Tariffs are national security. Tariffs are great for America, Navarro told Fox News. Yeah. I mean, in a certain light, you can say all that stuff, but, you know, go back and watch the video I did on tariffs. You will see that tariffs are not good nor bad, and they do have, you know, if they're used right, they're good. If they're used bad, they're bad. So, you know, let's see what else. Wisconsin Supreme Court rejects efforts to block Musk's $1 million giveaway. If I remember, yeah. So the Wisconsin Supreme Court rejected on Sunday night Wisconsin Attorney General Josh Kuhl's lawsuit to stop Elon Musk and American PAC from executing a planned giveaway on Sunday night of $1 million to each of 2 attendees at a town hall in Green Bay, Wisconsin. The order came just minutes before the event backing conservative candidate Bratch Meal was set to start. Kuhl wrote in his initial filing on Friday that he was asking for emergency relief to stop Musk and American PAC from further promoting $1 million giveaway to attendees of a planned event on Sunday, March 30th, and prohibiting respondents from making any payments to Wisconsin electors to vote. Just because you attend a town hall does not mean that you're paying them to vote. Like, that's a stretch, dude. Which he said, that's why, because he's basically saying in order to do this, he's okay. That makes more sense. I bet you anything he's a Democrat. Musk lawyers framed the planned Sunday night giveaways as spokespersons agreements for spokespeople for the PAC. Navarro says tariffs will lead to tax cut, despite what economists have said Trump's tariff czar, again, Peter Navarro, continued to push the tariffs will lead to tax cuts. The message is that tariffs are tax cuts, tariffs are jobs, tariffs are national security, tariffs are great for America, tariffs will make America great again, Navarro said Sunday on Fox News Sunday. Asked about Americans concerned that the impacts of tariffs will show up in everyday costs, Navarro asserted that the tariffs would raise revenue for the U.S. and that Trump's tax bill would provide tax benefits and tax credits to those who purchase American cars. Interesting. Diane Swank, KPMG's chief economist, told ABC News this week, co-anchor Martha Raddatz, that the president's plan to implement 25% tariffs on auto imports would not bring down prices. Well, of course they're not going to bring down prices. The economics does not suggest that at all, and I'm not alone. The economic consensus that actually, in fact, car prices will go up, and what we tend to see is some of it will be absorbed in margins, and some of it will show up in layoffs as higher costs go up in terms of production. GOP Senator James Lankford of Oklahoma said he's okay with the start of the negotiations on tariffs. So this is a negotiation with President Trump, he told CNN, State of the Union. It's all negotiation to see where we're going to do long term. I feel like in some ways in the economy, this is kind of like kitchen remodel or a bath remodel. There's a bit of mess at the beginning, but everybody has a long-term look to where we're headed. It's going to be noisy for a little while, but we'll know where it's headed, trying to reduce the prices of Americans and increase jobs. Actually, I would 100% agree with this guy. Tariffs, especially the way Trump's using the tariffs, from what I'm seeing with Trump's using the tariffs, he's going to create heartache at the beginning, but it is it really is setting it up for a negotiation tactic, and hopefully will lead to reduced prices for Americans and increased jobs. Not saying it will, just saying that just based on what the moves he's doing, this looks like what he's trying to do, and I would agree with the sentiment that I like the bathroom remodel. That's actually a really good analogy. Okay, Trump talks running for a third term despite term limit. Trump did not rule out seeking a third term for president, regardless of it going against the constitutional 2-term limit, telling NBC's Kristen Welker on Sunday, there are methods which you could do it. NBC News asked Trump about a possible scenario in which Vice President J.D. Vance would run for office and then pass the role to Trump. The president responded by saying, that's one method. A lot of people want me to do it, Trump said Sunday, but I basically tell them we have a long way to go. It's very early in the administration. If they did that, oh my God, I don't even know how to say this. If J.D. Vance ran for president and selected Donald Trump as his vice president and then resigned after being inaugurated and then was made to be, and then Trump moved up to president, and then Trump selected J.D. Vance to be his vice president, that would be, I don't know if it'd be good, but it would be freaking hilarious, which makes me kind of want it to happen. I'm oh, wow, that's interesting. When he asked whether he'd been presented with a plan to allow him to seek a third term, Trump said, there are methods which you can do it. Trump had previously commented on running for a third term a few times, which Republicans viewing his comments as jokes of the president trolling his critics. And more than likely, that last sentence is what's really going on, is Trump is trolling. Trump is more than likely just trolling everything. The simple fact that this even mentions J.D. Vance and then that would be hilarious. But in all likely, the safe money is Trump's trolling. Wisconsin AG appeals the states must give. We already covered that one. Whatever. USDA egg prices fall for the fifth straight week, but only by 26 cents. The national average wholesale of eggs fell 26 cents or 8% to $3 per dozen last week, according to the U.S. Department of Agriculture. It marks the fifth straight week of sliding wholesale prices, although the declines are slowing. as USDA's, it is interesting how they framed it, like of it sliding wholesale prices. It kind of gives it a negative connotation, but it really shouldn't be viewed as negative because egg prices have been stupid high for way too long. Everyone likes to blame Trump and his administration. Don't understand how your reasoning goes to Trump and his administration causing egg prices to be high, but you do you. USDA's Friday report notes price fell less dramatically as Easter demand starts to pick up. Shoppers may have an easier time finding eggs at the store and relax limits on how many you can buy, but retail prices lag behind wholesale as they're just now starting to appear cheaper. There is a general sense that current price levels, though still relatively high compared to past Easters, offer enough of an attractive contrast to consumers from where prices stood just a few weeks ago to encourage holiday demand, the report says. Okay. RFK says states can bar people from using SNAP for soda. Hey, I like that. Let's see what he has to say. HHS Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. announced Friday that the Trump administration would let any state refuse recipients of the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, SNAP, from using money to buy soft drinks. He made the announcement in West Virginia alongside Governor Patrick Morrisey, the first governor to say they'll take up that offer. The message that I want to give the country today and to all the other governors is get in line behind Morrisey and apply for a waiver to my agency, and we're going to give it to you. That's the way we're going to win this, Kennedy said. Kennedy doesn't have authority over SNAP, which falls under the Department of Agriculture, but he has been the biggest cheerleader for this policy change and collaborated with others such as Agriculture Secretary Brooke Rollins through his work leading Trump's Make America Healthy Again Commission, said Callie Means, a former Kennedy advisor who now works at the White House. This is absolutely only possible with Secretary Rollins' cooperation, and she's been very clear that she's excited to accept these waivers, Means said. That's actually, yeah. I'm going to give you guys a clap on that one. Soda is, everyone likes soda. Don't get me wrong. I get it. Soda was appeal. I used to drink probably 4 to 6 20-ounce bottles of soda a day. I cut soda out of my life, and within 2 months I was down like 50 pounds. And that was the only change I made. Everything else stayed the same, but just the amount of sugars that I was taking out, processed sugars that I took out of my diet, drastically changed my health. And face it, Americans are not healthy. And one of the main reasons why is all these processed sugars. So I am 100% behind this. RFK, when Trump announced that RFK was going to have a role in his administration, I was behind RFK 100% as in the role of HHS. Like, that is one of the best choices he could have made. Vance says Greenland has self-determination, but hopes they partner with U.S. over Denmark. Taking questions from Polkfif Space Base and Pituflik Space Base in Greenland, Vice President J.D. Vance was asked if he is conveying the message that the U.S. is serious in its desire to acquire Greenland. Well, the president said we have to have Greenland, and I think that we do have to be more serious about the security of Greenland. We can't just ignore this place. We can't just ignore the president's desires. But most importantly, we can't ignore what I said earlier, which is the Russian and Chinese encroachment in Greenland. We have to do more. Vance said the administration respects the self-determination of the people of Greenland, but argued that they'd be better served by a U.S. security umbrella than by Denmark. You know what? This is actually reminding me. There was a show that I was watching on Netflix that was actually when they were mapping out Greenland. It was about the Denmark's government going through and paying for these surveys of Greenland to show that it's an island, and they would actually have claim to break the claim that America had that it was part of North America or whatever. It was actually really interesting. I learned a lot about it. Fascinating, interesting history. But yeah. So yes, the people of Greenland are going to have self-determination, Vance said. We hope they choose to partner with the U.S. because we're really the only nation on earth that will respect their sovereignty and respect their security, because their security is very much our security, as these brave Americans show. And in all reality, if Greenland decides that they would rather become a territory of the U.S. or whatever, however they want to do it, they would be setting themselves up for a larger spotlight at this on the world stage. I guess I'm not quite sure how to word that. Do I care if Greenland joins America or wants to? Not necessarily. I think Greenland can do whatever Greenland wants to do, and if they choose to basically become the 51st state of the United States, more power to them. But it has to be their choice. That's my stance. I think offering to get them into the fold with America is not a bad thing. I also don't think it's been. I know some of the reports I've read make it sound like we're trying to force them to join us, and I don't really buy that. It seems like it's more like an offer, a negotiation. But whatever. Vance takes aim at Denmark over Greenland. He went after Denmark, accusing him of not doing enough for this semi-autonomous territory. Denmark has not kept pace in devoting the resources necessary to keep this base to keep our troops, and in my view, to keep the people of Greenland safe from lots of very aggressive incursions from Russia and China and from other nations. Our message to Denmark is very simple. You have not done a good job by the people of Greenland. You have underinvested in the people of Greenland, and you have underinvested in the security architecture of this incredible, beautiful landmass filled with incredible people. That has to change. Again, that literally just is them trying to, sugarcoat them, like, whatever, for negotiation. The criticism comes after officials in Denmark and Greenland pushed back against Vance's visit. Danish Prime Minister Mette Frederiksen said in a post on social media that the U.S. is putting unacceptable pressure on Greenland and Denmark ahead of the unsolicited visit, adding the two regions will resist. Is it really putting unacceptable pressure to have a sitting vice president go and visit an American base on another person's soil? Doesn't seem unacceptable to me. But, I guess to each their own. So Trump asked if Americans should buy cars now to avoid higher prices after his latest tariffs. After imposing tariffs against foreign automakers this week, ABC News senior politics correspondent Rachel Scott asked Trump, should Americans buy a car now if they want to avoid higher prices? No, I don't think so, Trump said. I think you're going to have a country that's going to boom. Remember, there are no tariffs. All you have to do is your work right here. He added, if you have your company here, if you build your product, make your car or whatever is you're making, no tariffs. That's actually true. Trump said he's also proposing to congressional leaders that if someone borrows money to buy a car made in the U.S., they should be able to deduct the interest payments on the loan for tax reasons. Huh. Interesting. That is interesting. Proposing to Congress leaders that if someone borrows money to buy a car made in the U.S., they should be able to deduct that. That's actually a very interesting way of encouraging people to buy U.S. made cars. Interesting. Trump continues to push for increased U.S. role in Greenland. He was asked to advance the trip to Greenland as the administration pushes to acquire the territory. Leaders in Denmark, which owns Greenland, have repeatedly dismissed Trump's calls to sell the territory, and its residents have protested Trump and Vice President Vance. It's not a question of do you think we can do without it. We can't. If you look at Greenland right now, he claimed. Okay. Trump defends Trevor Milton pardon. The president was asked about his pardon of Trevor Milton, who was convicted in 2022 of fraud and claimed without any details that he was being targeted for supporting him. They went after this man, and when I heard about it, I said, nope, not going to happen. Okay, I would love to get a little more detail in that, but They went after this man. I'm going to have to look into Trevor Milton. Did they? I mean, it's 2022, and lawfare was running rampant under the Biden administration. They basically did everything they could in order to shut down anyone they didn't like or supported anyone they didn't like. So that actually seems like it could be true, but that's just one, a 40,000 foot view. I don't know enough about it. Trump says he'll absolutely follow through on Canada tariff threat. Canadian Prime Minister ArKaNi informed President Donald Trump on Friday that his government will impose retaliatory tariffs against the U.S. on April 2nd when the Trump administration is set to implement a fresh round of sweeping levies. Trump had said on Thursday that he'd fire back with large-scale tariffs far larger than currently planned if Canada teamed up with the European Union to push back against his tariffs. Asked on Friday by ABC News senior political correspondent Rachel Scott if he would follow through on that promise, Trump said absolutely. Trump went on to call his conversation with ArKaNi earlier Friday very, very good. He said despite current tensions due to his administration's trade war, again, they're using trade war when it's not technically a trade war yet, but okay, let's go with it. The U.S. is going to end up with a very good relationship with Canada and most countries, and that's actually probably true. So, yeah. So, other news, Trump tells automakers not to raise prices over tariff. Trump announced earlier this week that his administration would impose a 25% tariff on cars not made in the U.S. The White House said that these tariffs will produce more than $100 million new annual tariff. These tariffs will be in addition to any current tariffs. What Trump is doing is acknowledging that there are costs to bear, the official told News Nation. The company should be able to eat the cost and not pass it down to Americans. Yeah, they should be able to, but that's just not going to happen. Interesting that they don't factor that in. Okay. This will continue to spur growth, Trump said this week, adding that if manufacturers' cars were built in the U.S., they would not be subject to the new tariff. Trump said about the auto tariffs will be permanent. Yeah, so. And then USAID. The staff got fired. Trump says Myanmar will still get the earthquake aid. And then, the State Department sends Congress a letter saying it's taking over USAID. State Department sent a letter Friday to Congress stating that it will be taking over the functions of the United States Agency for International Development by July 1st, 2025, effectively terminating all employees and closing the agency. In a separate memo to employees of USAID, the State Department noted all positions not established by law will be eliminated. This reduction in force will take place on one of two separate dates, July 1st or September 2nd. News Nation said they got documents on both. Employees of USAID were also asked to leave the office midday today, according to an employee News Nation spoke with as they departed. The letter to Congress, written by Paul Gaglione. I'm butchering that. I apologize. I'm going to stop trying to attempt that one. Senior bureau official in the Department of State's Bureau of Legislative Affairs notes that the intent is to undertake a reorganization that would involve realigning the USAID functions to the department by July 1st and discontinuing the remaining USAID functions that do not align with administrative priorities. The letter delineates that the 5 bureaus of USAID would be folded up into 6 regional bureaus from the Department of State and says global health programs like the President's Emergency Plan for AIDS Relief would be folded into the state's Bureau for Global Health Security and Diplomacy. Both the memo and letter say the State Department will conduct a separate hiring process to fill its foreign assistance capacity, and USAID employees will be eligible to apply for those roles. Jeremy Kadonkadink, I'm joking. I have no idea how to say it. Whatever. The current president of Refugees International, former USAID official, pushed back on the State Department's announcement, pointing out that closing USAID is illegal without congressional approval. Actually, I don't think it is. But okay. He told News Nation that the Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, is giving away the game here. He clearly does not intend any substantive consultation with Congress, much less a legislative reform package. He's trying to unlawfully circumvent Congress and daring them to stop him. Congress should push back hard against this effort to undermine its authority and constitutional role. This comes as the same day as the earthquake struck Myanmar in Thailand. Department of State spokeswoman Tammy Bruce said that USDA has maintained a team of experts to provide immediate assistance. When News Nation asked the State Department who was going to be sent to support relief efforts, no response was provided. He said it was understanding that the small unit had been trying to cobble together support for this earthquake response. Was told to leave the office by 1 p.m. He also said that the bulk of staff who normally launched major disaster responses, the DART team, had already gotten termination notices, and that the logistics contracts used to deploy relief flights and search and rescue teams were terminated in the Doge cuts. So, yeah. Nonetheless, I'm happy USAID is getting terminated. Those functions, while some of them are good, like earthquake relief, obviously, is good. These functions can be done by the State Department. USAID has a sordid history of mismanaging and spending money, in our taxpayer money, in inappropriate ways. So it is interesting that he's saying that shutting USAID down is unconstitutional. That is not true. In fact, there are certain jobs that are constitutionally protected, but yeah, he's stretching a little bit on that one, trying to make it seem like Trump again is doing these fascistic freaking things, and that's not the case. I mean, even the letter says that the ones that are constitutionally protected are still going to be there. They're just going to be rolled into a different format. So, it's the left belly aching over things. Our federal government has been bloated. Trump's administration, which I would not have guessed based on his first term, I didn't really believe it when he was on his campaign trail saying that he was going to limit this. He's actually fulfilling some of this stuff. Is he doing everything the right way? Probably not, but he's definitely not doing everything the wrong way. So, yeah. So yeah, there was a lot of, oh, my button's not working.
Fatality.
There he goes. For the Democrats this week. USAID, that letter came out specifically because the lower court's ruling on USAID got overruled by the appellate court. So, I mean, yeah, there's a lot of legal analysis is being done, specifically by the left, saying how these are unconstitutional, but yet Trump's winning in court. So it's and while I don't agree with some of the stuff that Trump's bringing through the court system, I do think that this actually does start setting some precedents on things that everyone's kind of taking for granted. I'm still interested to see what's going to happen with the birthright citizenship question. I really want to know how that's going to come out, but we'll have to wait and see on that one. But yeah, I'm going to do the White House's releases probably for the last 3-4 days, and just kind of see what the White House has to say about things. But yeah, so tune in on Thursday for that one. Thank you for watching. Till next time.
Peace.